Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important do you think it is to stay active in retirement? I'm glad you're able to share with us today. At Wesley Mission, we operate a number of retirement villages, 3 in total, and 4 residential aged care facilities, and a number of programs that are designed to encourage independent living amongst those who are older. Add to this the people who are involved in our Wesley School for Seniors, about 800 people there, our church congregation and other areas of our work. You'll see that in many ways we interact with people who are getting older. Connecting with members of the Wesley Mission family, I soon discover that many of our elderly residents and clients are motivated by a love for life, connecting them with family and friends, and many do all they can to remain active well into their 80s and 90s. Today, I'll speak with a writer of a book entitled Making Retirement Work. At 72, full-time retirement is not on the agenda for John Bradford. Instead, he's a keen, active and person who's alive and wants to be about life and wants to finish well. I'm looking forward to speaking to John a little later in the show. We'll be joined by Matt Doeland, who once again will sing for us, and he's going to sing with the Wesley Impact Band, "Oh Come to the Altar." And I'll share some thoughts on such an important passage in John's Gospel, which focuses on Jesus washing the disciples' feet and telling us that Peter will deny him. I mentioned Wesley Mission operates 3 retirement villages. One such village is our Alan Walker village in Sydney's northwest, where 260 residents are involved in weekly activities, including book clubs, lawn boards, reading groups, sports activities, and the list goes on and on. Let's hear now from one of our residents, Margaret.
I've been living at Alan Walker for 8 years. My grandchildren are in Sydney, so I placed myself at Alan Walker because it's in between where both my children live. Because I'm now close to them, I see them quite often and I do a lot of childminding in the school holidays. We're very fortunate at Alan Walker. We have a little shop that we can use 3 times a week. We have a bus that takes us to larger shopping centres. There are a lot of social functions here at Alan Walker Village. I do like the pretty gardens. I like that the gardens are quite extensive and I like that. A typical week for me here at Alan Walker is generally a mixed bag because I will spend some time here at the village during the various activities. I belong to the book club here at Alan Walker. There are a lot of outings and a lot of card games, social evenings, film groups, and gentle exercise classes. I'm joining a Zumba group next month, looking forward to that. There are a lot of function rooms where we can gather together for different interest groups. For instance, the book club has a dedicated room, our quiet room, where we can meet monthly. And a lot of groups are like this. They have a dedicated space to allow people to explore their interest. The one I really enjoy is croquet. I play about 3 times a week. And I was really pleased to see there was a croquet lawn here at the village. And I'm trying to build up the membership of the croquet club here because it is an excellent sport. You can play it all year. You can play it from 9 to 99, and in fact we held a tournament here at Alan Walker a couple of years ago, and the winner was a 93-year-old woman, so you can be any age and still play croquet. But then I also have outside interest, and because there is a public bus route nearby, I'm often on that bus, going to Eastwood Station or going to Parramatta at Westfield. So I feel at the moment I lead a good balanced life here. The staff are wonderful. I've found them very helpful, yes. They've changed over the years since I've been here, but I've always found them helpful and they go to no end of trouble to assist you. All my needs really are in here in the village. They're met and accommodated very well. If someone approached me and said they were anticipating coming to Alan Walker Village, I would encourage them to think strongly about it. One of the benefits I find is that we have public transport. We also have private transport. So there's a variety of shopping available to us. We can go to the train station at Eastwood, and therefore you can follow your own interest, you can meet friends in the city quite easily. It's not an issue here. It's also set in a lovely high location. It's really, the air is very healthy. That's something I do like about Alan Walker Village. And generally it's just a very pleasant place to live.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
So don't hesitate to be in touch if you'd like to find out more about our work at Wesley Mission, or if we can help you in any way. The contact details are on the screen now. We're looking at the topic of retirement today. As well, we saw Margaret in the Alan Walker Village. There are many benefits of maintaining an active lifestyle, well beyond what we call working years. To tell us more about this and to discuss a new book he's written called Making Retirement Work, please welcome back onto Wesley Impact, John Bradford.
Thank you, sir.
John, tell me first of all, why did you write the book?
Well, I just became interested in the topic because I was dealing with a lot of people who were transitioning to retirement, that is, thinking about what to do when they retire, and also in my age group, and I'm actually turned 73 since I wrote the book. Many of my people in my age group were already retired and were challenged by some of the aspects of being retired. So I thought, well, here's something for a book. And so I was also involved with an organisation that promoted the ministry called Q4, which is part of Christian Ministry Advancement, and they'd sort of developed a ministry arm that was focused on that topic.
So really, you use as much to prepare people for that transitional process as it is for people in the situation.
Both.
Asking what should we be prepared for, what should we be doing, and feeling positive.
Absolutely,
I mean, retirement isn't the end game, is it? It's something that we live through.
Well, it's the beginning of a whole new phase of life, and it's an increasingly extended phase because, of course, life expectancy is now increased to the point where people can live quite comfortably into their 90s if they're blessed with good health. And I've alluded to in my book, one thing I found in the research is that there's a person now born who will live to be 150 years old.
Really?
So that's how life expectancy is going. I don't know what if you still retire more or less at 65, that's an awful lot of retirement years.
And you talk about wanting to finish well, don't you? I like that phrase that you've used. What do you mean by that?
Well, life is an ongoing set of challenges, and I think for a Christian, with the finishing line in view, then the challenge is to keep on going, keep focused on finishing well, getting across that finishing line, because there are things that will happen that will make that hard.
What are some of the challenges that you discuss in the book about growing old?
Well, loneliness obviously is one that people mention a lot, and there's no easy answers to that, and it's probably a state of mind as much as anything. But many people who are aged are lonely, particularly when they've lost their life partner, and that happens, and very often that seems to be women still who are living longer than men.
Yes.
But so loneliness and just the challenge, I think, of being busy and being occupied. Many retired people have been very successful in their careers. That may be men, that's changing, but it's mainly been men. And suddenly they're thrust into an environment where, what I talk about in my political career, I mean, one day you're a rooster and suddenly next day you're the feather duster. So, I mean, that can be a daunting challenge for people to accept that they're no longer on the way up the ladder, but they're on the way down the ladder. So all of those challenges, I think, are very real for people.
And you've been in politics, you're concerned, but as a Christian, what do you think the Christian has to contribute to this whole aspect of growing older? What do you think that we if there was a conversation, what would the Christian conversation be?
Well, Well, I mean, as a Christian, I mean, obviously we've got a whole different focus to what others may have in terms of where we're going. So we know that there's life beyond. We believe that we accept
Sure.
that there's life beyond this life. So our focus really is on in some senses, in preparing for that, and that means, as you said, finishing well and continuing to maintain the faith, and that for some people I've found, older people, even becomes a challenge.
Somebody's listening to us, our conversation, and they're trying to come to terms with the fact that they're nearing retirement and or they've just recently retired. What would you say to them if you had the opportunity of giving them, I'm not sure the word advice is right, but if you were able to say something that's helpful, what would you say?
Well, I'm involved, fortunately, with a number of folk in that transition, and some of them are super busy. They've got every minute of the day organised, and perhaps that's not a bad starting point. I mean, this friend of mine on the Gold Coast where I live, I mean, if he's not playing table tennis, he's playing something else.
Yeah.
So I guess the challenge is to be busy, to find things that you enjoy doing in retirement. Now, I mean, I'm fortunate, even at my age, to be able to surf still. I still ride my surfboard when I can. I play golf fairly often. My wife thinks too often, but anyway, that's another. But I play golf, and I still volunteer at a local radio station on the Gold Coast where I work 2 or 3 days a week. So there are plenty of opportunities out there. Maybe I'm more fortunate than some people to take advantage of those, but there are plenty of opportunities for people in my age group to be doing things.
And it's not all about money and having resources, it's about the opportunity to give.
Yeah, well, I mean, money is an issue of it, as you raise it for many people. I mean, they may not have enough money to retire comfortably on, and so the ability to travel and so on may be limited, and that's obviously going to limit their choices in retirement, what they can do if they haven't got adequate money to live on.
Thank you for writing this book. I hope that people that watching might say, here's an opportunity to get John Bradford along to talk about this and share with you. But we do appreciate you doing this and touching on this subject that for some people isn't talked about enough, really.
No, it's being increasingly talked about because of the fact that more and more people are sort of concerned about the many years they've got to look forward to in retirement. Most people these days, of course, Keith, transition into retirement.
Sure.
Many people like myself are sort of what they call semi-retired. When people ask me if I'm retired, I'm not quite sure what the correct answer is, but I don't see myself as retired. I think semi-retired sounds fine for me.
Thank you for coming on, and keep at it and make sure that transition goes on for some time yet.
Thanks, Keith. Well, best to you with your program and your work too.
Thank you. We're going to welcome Matt Doeland on the show. Again, he's a great singer. Somebody who's a friend of the show here, and the Wesley Impact Band to sing "Oh Come to the Altar."
Are open wide, forgiveness was was born with the precious blood of Jesus Christ.
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Sport is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are champions in their field, including Commonwealth Games gold medalist Deb Lovely, tennis great Margaret Court, Olympic swimmer Elke Whalen, long distance runner Eloise Wellings, Olympic gold medalist Duncan Armstrong, and two-time boxing world champion Nigel Benn. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on sport and the achievements of notable sporting greats, and collectively presents a broad cross-section of athletes and how their faith has changed their lives. Perspectives on Faith and Sport is the second instalment of a three-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
I chose to volunteer at Wesley Mission because I'm passionate about justice.
I chose to volunteer with Wesley Mission because I've always wanted to work with people who have a disability.
You meet friendly people. They're all people who are self-motivated and energetic.
It not only gives me a purpose, keeps me active, and activity leads to longevity.
Wesley Mission currently provide over 130 individual services with over 2,000 employees, supported by over 3,000 volunteers to assist over 21,000 families and individuals each year. Whew, that's a lot of numbers. So as you can imagine, we are always looking for more volunteers to help. So please, volunteer today. Visit our website, wesleymission.org.au. You will not only be meeting new and interesting people, but you will be doing all the good you can, because every life matters.
Peter is unquestionably the first leader of the church, and you can't avoid that when you read the early chapters of the Acts of the Apostles. This makes it doubly painful when we read the denial of Jesus Christ when we journey through Holy Week. So I'm going to read from John 13, 31 to 35. When he was gone, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will glorify the Son in himself, and will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Now, the 13th chapter of John's Gospel is rich in content. Just think of some of the things that you find in this particular chapter. We find Jesus washing the disciples' feet, which will forever be in the minds of Christian people an image, a picture, a description, if you like, of what discipleship is all about. Then we find Jesus predicting his betrayal. Those are painful words, really, and hard, really, I think, for those who would read it at the very first time to fully grasp it, and knowing that Jesus was aware of it and knowing what they'd lived through with what he proved to be the case. And Jesus telling of Peter's denial. This is probably harder than the betrayal, really, because this is one who really was loyal to Jesus in so many ways, and to know that he would deny. Peter would never forget these words of Jesus, and they would be painfully etched upon his life. He's a leader in training, really, at this point in time, but he's true to his character. He's enthusiastic. He declares his loyalty, which Jesus questions, and tells him that loyalty will not be his defining part in the crucifixion account, but denial. Just consider that denial. Remember who it is that is denying him. Peter, this apostle that was there and called by the lakeside and called to be a leader, spokesman at times for the disciple. You see, it's a denial which will hurt him. It will hurt him profoundly in the deep places of his life. I can't imagine what it's like to be alongside Jesus and hear him say that. It's a denial which goes much further than just hurt for him. I think it defines all of us, Because all of us know there are times in our lives when we know what it is to deny Jesus, probably by what we say, more often by what we do. When we know that we may want to be as loyal as we can be, we may declare ourselves to be followers, but we know that we deny him. But it's a denial also that will prepare him for his future and his dynamic leadership. We read it after Easter, reminding ourselves that the grace of God which meets us in Jesus Christ is also reinstated in this wonderful moment when he meets the disciples on the lakeside. So denial is only part of the story. There will be reinstatement, but maybe Peter is made more into the man he is by his journey through denial into reinstatement by the risen Lord. Perhaps that makes him the kind of person that can understand, the person who will give himself entirely, and if tradition is right, who will himself die for the sake of following Christ. When we look back on our lives, and I think one of the things that we'll pick up from the interview a little earlier in the show is that we live through our lives and there are many things we prepare for, but there are things we look back on. When you look at Peter and you say to yourself, what did he look back on in his life? Well, clearly it would be the wonderful stories he heard, it will be the ministry he shared with Jesus, but it will also be the fact that he denied him. So much so that when he's by the fire and accused of being a follower, I don't even know the man. You may think my accent gives me away, but I don't even know him. And yet, very soon, he will find himself with the risen Lord, affirmed as one who loves him and is called to love others. And then there's that marvelous sense in which at Pentecost, he will stand, all the disciples with him. That moment of his life is now gone, and he'll declare the risen Christ. What a wonderful journey in this person, Peter, the great apostle, the first leader, and the one who went on a journey, a difficult journey, a tough journey, a journey that involved pain and hurt, denial, but comes eventually to be that of a reinstated Lord and one who truly will always be a leader to the disciples and for the Christian community for all time. Oh, what a person and what a Saviour to give him that strength.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Please do be in touch if you'd like to find out more about the Christian faith. If we can be of any help to you in any way, if you've got questions about something you've heard on the programme today, let's take a look now at some of the events that are coming up at Wesley Mission.
Wesley Life Force is conducting free suicide prevention workshops where you can learn how to understand the warning signs and find out what local and national resources are available to people at risk of suicide. Wesley Mission is holding a Wills Day on Thursday the 23rd of May, where you can have your will professionally prepared by an independent solicitor from as little as $60. Bookings are essential, so please visit wesleymission.org.au/wills to reserve your appointment. Heroes United is Wesley Mission's annual fundraiser for our homelessness services. It's also a great opportunity for you to come and hear the stories of those who have overcome great adversity in their lives. For over 40 years, Wesley School for Seniors has been helping the over 55s learn new skills, make new friends, and take up a hobby with over 90 courses including dancing, poetry, creative writing, art, and much more.
Thank you once again for being with us. I'm always glad to spend time with you. Join us again at the same time next week for another episode of Wesley Impact. May God bless you and have a great week.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues, and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.